Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and look out, world, we have a very special VIP today. We have Dan Brown Jr. He is from CrimeSonics. He's a multi-Emmy Award winner for music for crime show themes and investigative shows, and we're going to get into that. Let's give him a super duper warm welcome. Hey, Dan, thanks for being here. How are you?
Hey AJ, how are you doing? It is a pleasure to be here, and I just love your background. I feel like it's highly legit, and I keep seeing your stuff pop up. You are interviewing a lot of people right now, so it's exciting to watch. It's growing.
Well, thank you so much. And you're part of that family now, Dan, and thank you for that support. I love promoting people. I think we need to do more of it from the heart. We need to love people more, and you're that type of person as well. So we're going to get into that. But let's talk about you and Crime Sonics, Crime TV. You are a composer, but let's get into a little bit of your background. Your story starts with playing guitar in Denver, Colorado, for all your fans and supporters out there. And then a light bulb moment happened while watching Dateline. What was going through your mind when you realized you wanted to move to LA and start Crime TV?
I've shared this story before, and I always kind of feel it's almost like I feel rude in a way when I share it. So what happened was while we were living in Denver, I had made a new acquaintance, a new friend. And he was all jazzed up because he had just told me, I just wrote the music to an indie film. I had no concept of this. I had only ever done just songwriting, playing in bands, that kind of life. And so he brought me over to his house. He put on the music, and it was very okay. as my as my son used to say when he was younger. He used to say things like, "That's very okay." And when I heard that, like he there was so much passion that he had for what he had written that I thought, like, I mean, maybe arrogantly, I don't know. I was just like, I think I could do that. I could do that. That is nothing. I can do this. And so I remember that night I came home and I was like, hey, so and so wrote some music. And it was just like, I mean, they loved it. The filmmakers loved it. It's this whole ordeal. I think I can do this. And that's why I always say the story makes me feel like I'm kind of being rude because it's like I wasn't overly impressed with what I heard, but it was perfect for the film. And so yeah, one night I remember we had a big snowstorm in Denver, and we had a show booked for our band at some casino up in the mountains, and it got snowed out, so we couldn't go. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and polish guitars and tune up guitars, maybe do some tweaks of the gear, throw the laptop on, throw on some Dateline, and I realized, like, okay, that music in the background has a vibe. It's dark. I hear like some weird percussion stuff. But then every once in a while, I heard guitars, and I go, okay, that's my way into that world. Everyone enters the music for media world maybe in a different way or through their instrument. Mine was through guitar. I was like, I can do that. Um, didn't know what that meant. So I just started like listening to shows, taking little snapshots, listening to the music, and thinking like, let me recreate this. I don't even know some of the sounds that I'm hearing. I was completely out of my element. Maybe like 6 months into that, doing research online, finding people that are doing it, YouTube University, I just told the wife, I said, hey, we're moving to LA. We're gonna figure this out. Like this stuff is fun. I don't have to like throw a bunch of gear in the car all the time. I can be home more. I want to write dark guitar-based music at that time. That's what I wanted to do. So yeah, we came out to LA, and then fast forward the story, figured it all out. Happy ending, happy ever after.
This is so great because you really are a Hollywood success story, Dan, you and your family. And as the viewers can see, all of your Emmys, those are real. That's not a virtual
Yeah.
background. Those are real Emmys right there behind you. And also your guitar. Is that your guitar that inspired you? Is that the original one, or is that a new version of something?
You know, it's funny as we talk about it, I need to hang another one right there. And funny enough, I have another one of those, which would look good right there. No, that's actually a fairly newer acquisition. Can't really see it because of the lighting in here, but it looks black, but it's alligator skin on that guitar. But that room behind me, behind that wall, is just full of instruments. And because we're talking about it, one of the things that we spent the weekend doing, and it's kind of an ongoing project for the next week or so, is it's not well known how big of an instrument collection we have at the CrimeSonics home studio. We have several hundred instruments here. So we just started photographing them and putting them online. So you can already see a bunch of them now if you go to crimesonics.com, you click on about me at the very bottom to see a little link. So it's kind of hidden right now, but you click on it, instrument vault or instrument collection. We just started putting stuff up there. So it's that's a yeah. That's that might be an obsession. I need to calm that down.
This is so great. So you love Foley. I mean, your whole family loves Foley and sound making.
Yeah.
And this is so important to filmmaking. It's such an incredible aspect. In fact, a lot of times I like to hear about screenwriters getting the score and the soundtrack already in line front to inspire the story and develop it even further. What do you think about that, Dan?
You know, you actually took the thoughts out of my own head was, along the way, I've met with so many different creatives in the industry. Many writers, screenwriters will write to film score. And that was something new to me. And now I've always been aware of, you mute a TV show and it's pretty lame. I mean, you can think about the example like when you're, a kid or when you're younger, you're watching a scary movie. What do? You turn it down, right? If you turn it down, the big jump scares, the big sound effects, they don't freak you out as much. Music is a super important part of the show, and I think it's awesome that screenwriters get into a headspace while listening to music. And I do know for a fact that at one point in time, someone was listening to some of our music writings and stuff, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Yes, and so you love music, and this is a family uh, production and a team and a company. How wonderful is that? I mean, did your son and your wife go up on stage when you won the Emmys? I just want to know, did were they in the audience or at
Well,
home?
it's been through a couple different cycles. It's been so many of them. I know for a fact one time, funny enough, to answer your question in a window way, you can't see it now, but it's kind of hiding back here. There's another award. That was a cool moment because it's not an Emmy, but it was the first award I ever won. And it's a lesser known award, but they have an award show. It was for crime music. And I remember I brought my wife and my son up with me, and I remember reading the award, but I just said, wow, this award says you have the most beautiful wife in the world and the most talented, smart son in the whole world. All right, Holly. So, yeah, yeah, I think my wife's been on stage a couple times. She's won as well as a producer. She helps produce a lot of the stuff that we're doing. And now my son recently has moved into doing his own sound design and his own electronic virtual instrument creation. And I won't let the cat out of the bag yet, but he's working on his whole. He's up there right now on the other side of the house, and he's in his studio and he's creating all kinds of interesting stuff. So very neat to see how it all unfolds.
Well, that's fabulous, Dan. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that it's a family themed company that you have. How fun is that?
It is.
Not many people get to do that, in today's world. So this is a wonderful thing. You describe yourself as destined for crime music. How did the early run-ins with law enforcement shape your emotional tone of your composition?
Well, I love the question. When I was a young, misguided, unguided young guy, I did lose my freedom for a while in the juvenile detention system. And when I look back at it, it was like, I mean, that's like terrifying to go through as a young guy. Like it is terrifying. I mean, you're locked up, you take your freedoms taken away, and you're there for, weeks, months. Um, when I think about that loneliness or that despair, even though, it wasn't years or anything, but I was on probation for years. I had community service for years, I had legal issues for years, but to lose your freedom for a while, like I remember what it sounds like when the door shuts. I remember what it's like when you're eating off the tray and the Rice Krispies are very stale and you chip a tooth on them, you could. And yeah, and so like when I think about sometimes the to write in a space of like despair or loneliness or fear, anxiety, it's not like I have to imagine what that is. I remember what that was. That makes a massive impression on you. So, I mean, praise the Lord, I'm a believer in Jesus. So later in life, everything works out. And but I don't regret. I regret the things that I did, but I don't regret those experiences because they made me who I am, and I can pull from them. And that is as transparent as I could be.
I love that answer, and thank you so much, Dan, for that. I was debating whether to ask that question because it's kind of on the fence. Some people like to talk about it, some people don't.
Yeah.
But I knew that you're so confident as a composer and with your experience in the industry that you're an established professional and you'd be totally okay with that. But thank you so much for answering that. And it also gives the depth. We've all gone through experience in life. And we've all made mistakes or challenging choices that have not worked out with the consequences. And so we can draw on that emotion, we can draw on that reserve, if you will, of experience and pain in some ways to convey and portray our art and project it the way with feeling and emotion that definitely drives your CrimeSonics company. So thank you for that. Dan, you have been involved with The Hunt with John Walsh, Dateline, Movie 1108, California Paranormal, Realm of Shadows, and many others. And you really had an incredible career so far, and it's really elevated your whole world. And so I want to talk about how we met. We met on Clubhouse about 2 or 3 years ago, and at that time, you were just ramping up in so much popularity. You were getting booked and scheduled and had all these projects. And then I said, I want you on my show. And you said, yes, yes, I want to do it. But you were just so booked. And then you said, can we do a rain check? And I said, yes, I want to. And then you reached out recently. And I was so thrilled that you did. Thank you for remembering me. But how was that? Because you've been to the height of awards and recognition and professional stature that many people aspire to. So, how was that ride? How is it, and how hard is it to maintain?
That's a loaded question. I will probably give you the answer that you don't want, which is all these accolades and all this stuff is cool. It is cool. But my son only knows me as his dad. My wife only knows me as husband. You know, my close friends don't care about any of this stuff. Um, I don't take myself too serious. I take the work serious. I take the project serious. I take I mean what you can't see now, the lighting in here is a little weird, is right past this camera is my whole, I mean, there's a piano below me, there's a computer here, I got footage on the screen. I'm right in the paint. I'm working hard. So you don't have a lot of time to think about those things. You just do the work. You just do the work. So how has the run been? I don't know if I was there. I don't
You're so
remember.
modest.
I don't remember. And hopefully the ride's not over. You
It's
just
just beginning.
yeah, you just stay focused, you just stay focused and you work really, really hard. So again, it's probably not the answer that you hoped for, but I would hope that everyone uh, works really hard and achieves the things that they think are important in the moment. So then when they get them, they have the question of, is this it? It's got to be something more to this. And there is.
Absolutely. And we're all given gifts, like you mentioned, and it's up to us to use those gifts like you have and continue to do so and changing it up. I always mention this, like God always changes the seasons, right? So it's the same for us. We need to change it up and always learn, like you like to always learn. And that's what it's all about. And it's very important. So that's a good mindset. And then refocus on work and action, basically being an action-oriented person, which is what you are with your family. So thank you for that. I loved your answer. I thought it was great.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so CrimeSonics began in 2018 with 35 composers and now has over 100 volumes. You mentioned a little bit about on your website, there's some fun things to check out. How do you maintain coherence and high quality across such a broad, specialized catalog? Because it's
Things take longer than people realize. That's the answer. It
because it's
just
huge.
it just takes longer than you think. And I would say I'm way behind with this, because at this point now, I think we've had somewhere over 170 different composers and sound designers and soloists and vocalists and just amazing people come through our, right now it's not open season for composers to submit their works to us, but um, that time will come again. And so like we were and will be again always listening to the best of the best. Um, I think we're at 190 volumes now, but I should probably not even say that we have like another 100 volumes that are just waiting for the mastering and the metadata and the release. So how do you maintain the quality? It takes forever, AJ. It takes forever. And if I could just share this little nugget of, I don't know, maybe pro tip, delayed gratification is key. You have to push, don't rush to get it out. Don't rush to celebrate something that's not finished. Not everything requires a selfie. Not everything requires a photograph. Not everything requires a social media post. Um, patience, patience, and you'll know when it's done. I'm not a perfectionist at all, but there is a high standard and a high quality that I would hope that everybody doing whatever you do, you strive for. Become a perfectionist. Like, you're not perfect. You're not Jesus. So, just high quality, take your time, delayed gratification. Maybe it'll work out.
It's a wonderful methodology and philosophy to have in the industry as well. More of a smooth, calm, steady pace than flash in the pan, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. So that's it. People get
Wonderful.
mad though, like sometimes people are like, why is my music not out yet? Or when's this project that you've been working on for years? Why is it not done? Why? When?
Yeah.
It will all get done, Lord willing. It will get done. We'll get done.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you're slaving. You can see it in my eyes. I'm tired.
So are you from the South? Is there a twang to your can you talk about that?
Okay, so I actually grew up in St. Louis and but on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River. So you at times will hear that, and then there's also like a really heavy like maybe even predominantly African American community where I grew up. So I'm used to like not being the majority and a place that's a little more southern. So and my family though, oh my gosh, bluegrass musicians, everything talks like, it has that sound to it. So I'm very used to that world. And so being in LA, it's like we're down here eating shawarmas and Indian food and just all this culture. But you go back home and it is like fried chicken and biscuits. So you're
Very
hearing it.
nice. I love that.
It
And
creeps out.
and that also gives you a depth of experience too, where you come from and the culture of different states. And you're right. I love it. I love it all.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch up now to talk about AI. You've experimented a little bit with AI, possibly. What specific tasks are you finding AI useful for, and where does it still fall short of that human element and emotion?
Okay, cool question. Yeah. And people are torn on this whole AI thing. So far, it's been quite the benefit to my life. First and foremost is like my son and I and my wife and I, we will use AI to study biblical scripture in the original language. So that way there's no interpretation issue. There's no like people think like this game of phone or like it's written and retranslated and retranslated. Scrap all that. We can go straight back to the original Hebrew, Aramaic, and Koine Greek,
How cool is that?
and we can do it fast. That is amazing. And then to take it one step further, here where I live in Los Angeles area, uh, the Dead Sea Scrolls are on display. So we were able to go. You can photograph them with your phone, upload them to Chat GPT, and then have it translated for you. You got the U translation at that point. So that's a cool one.
Wow.
One of the things that's always kind of bugged me about my own business. Okay, so I'm just like going to talk about it. The design of our cover art, I can see it on the screen there, what I can see anyway, is it's a very simple red and black art, but it's never been exactly what I wanted. And so just recently I've been like feeding those to AI, and I've been like, well, make it like an oil painting or make it like a watercolor. And the stuff that it's coming back with, which is still our brand, it still looks like our stuff. It's just like a refined part of this. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So we got some big stuff coming in 2026 because of the AI. So, I think that stuff is fascinating. I don't use it for anything musically yet. Being a composer, sound designer, I'll probably be the purest guy forever. There will be producers, there will be editors, there will be directors that will go the AI route. I can't blame them. I think it's awesome. There will also be people who want a hybrid of both. Um, there will also be purists that will only ever work with humans. And, I'm willing to just navigate those waters because it's all interesting to me. It's all technology.
It really is. And it's exciting and interesting in itself, kind of an adventurous tool. And I hear what you're saying about, I've used Sora AI as well, and that's a fun tool and program and machine. And I did a little cartoon advertisement of me, which was kind of fun, just something fun to do. But there's a lot more to it. But I do love your red, white, and black. I think it's very effective and very impactful. But I'm looking forward to what you have coming in the future, Dan. That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
it'll be cool.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, CrimeSonics has won over a dozen Emmy and many other awards. So what's the project that means the most to you personally that you've done so far in your career and why?
Okay, it's the one that we are finishing right now. So for the past 4 years, in-house, we developed, shot, investigated an entire documentary film, uh, and it's all done. Like so, the only thing that's not done, it's all done except for this one little thing, is about 15 minutes of music, which I'm finishing now. I'm about 3 minutes into that 15. So it's a story of a young girl named Brianna Wells. Tragically, in 2014, she was murdered in an alley in South Phoenix, and the case is unsolved. And from every appearance, it just doesn't really seem like people really care much. So for the past 4 years, we have been investigating, interviewing, filming, piecing everything together. And it's a very unique documentary. I don't want to give away too much. It's shot very cinematically, so it doesn't feel like a piece of crime TV show at all. It feels very much more like a film. The score of the film that I've been working on, it's a beautifully mournful score that features hours of violin. I mean, it's just the violin is like this right up front solo voice in the film. Uh, the story is really it's hard to say this. It's not about the film is not about Brianna, but it is. But the film is really about this woman named Gina, and it's a little murky. So let me clean this up. Gina is the mother of this beautiful young lady named Bridget, and Bridget was friends with Brianna. So Brianna was murdered. Bridget was her friend, and her mom Gina has been the one on her own pushing the police, pushing the media, hiring private investigators, going out, picketing with signs, hanging up flyers. It's been Gina. Gina's the movie. She's the story. But ultimately, I think we know exactly now who has done this to Brianna, and it's going to be neat to see how it all unfolds. I don't want to say too much, but like when this film comes out, I'll just say when the film comes out, there might be another film. There might be two parts of this.
Amazing, amazing. So, what a tragic story, but we're so thankful that you're a part of it because we know you're going to do an outstanding job of it and telling it. And these are the type of stories that need to be told. All crimes need to be solved.
Right.
And I was a fan. I used to watch the gray-haired actor on
Oh, are you thinking of Robert Stack and the
Robert Stack.
Unsolved
Yes,
Mysteries?
Unsolved Mysteries. Okay.
The gray-haired actors, it's all turning gray now. It's all it's all turning gray.
I used to love Unsolved Mysteries. I used to watch it with my dad,
Oh, yeah.
and wow, my goodness. No, but you're in the Silver Fox stage.
Wow.
Your wife has. I'm sure your wife has mentioned that to you, and so happy celebrations to you both on your anniversaries together.
Okay, well, I'll take it as a compliment because it's a weekly conversation. I'm like, should I shave this? Should I get rid of this?
No,
And she's
it's very pronounced and effective. It's a great presence for you, Dan. It's very distinguished. What do you think? Remember in Marilyn Monroe in the movie with all the gentlemen in tuxedos around her, they all had the silver fox.
okay. Okay.
Okay, so keep it because it's classic Hollywood. Okay, that's just my opinion, but talk to your wife about it, okay?
She's already decided. If I shave it, she's going to put me in a doghouse.
Okay.
So
Okay. But back to Brianna Wells'
yeah.
case. I wanted to ask you, how has scoring the long form investigative project differed from episodic TV music?
This has been amazing. It has been absolutely amazing. Right now the score length clocks in at over 2 hours and 24 minutes. And I'm about to write another 15 minutes. And I'll rabbit trail for a minute because I think it's kind of funny. I'm also the director of this documentary. So this is our film. Like this, we did this, we financed this, we shot this, edited this, everything in-house. But being the director and the composer, you are the director first. And I rejected 20, 30 minutes of my own music. I rejected my own stuff.
Wow.
Because once I wrote everything and I got in here and we're watching it against the footage, something didn't seem right. And what I'll tell you is this: there's four sequences in the film where we break away from like the world, the high, 4K camera. We break away from the film and we're learning about South Phoenix through news clips. We learn about the Phoenix Police Department and the Department of Justice investigation through news clips. We learn about how they handle homicides through news clips. So there's like this, we kind of go out of the world into this other world. And so I thought, I'm going to score it in this way. And I did this thing. And it was, I spent 6 weeks on that music, huge orchestral score. And when I watch it back, I'm like, what am I thinking? It's so silly. That's not what belongs here at all. So over this past weekend, I started writing some stuff that's very avant-garde. The score is beautiful and mournful, but not this stuff. This needs to be this visceral, odd meter aggression. Like it's not about what the music, it's about how it makes you feel. And
Right.
so I started writing some angry music in here. My son comes out, he's up in a loft over here. He comes down like, Dad, what is that? That is nasty. And I was like, and I'm on the right track. Because before it was like way too pretty.
Yeah.
So,
Oh.
yeah. So as your question, so how's it been? It's been interesting because you have to reject your own stuff, and I've shared this with a couple of other composers, and they're like, "Is that hard? Is that hard to do?" Even some of the soloists that have been here, I spent days with solo cello, solo violin, solo viola, just one on one, really getting the performances. I shared the same story, and they're like, "Oh man, I don't know if I could do that." You got to stay true to the art, and there's that delayed gratification. Could I run with the other music that I wrote? Yeah, it's awesome stuff. I mean, I'm biased, but I like it. Uh, it's not right. So that's why I'm kind of back in here. I'm going to take a week or two. I'm going to really hit it hard with something. Uh, I wish I could share it with you now because I'm looking at it on the screen and it's I'll hint at something for you interesting. When you watch the film and you're learning about South Phoenix, it's very mean. You're going to hear this very percussive string instrument. This wah, da, 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 wah. It's really, really nasty. I've taken a viola that I have. It's actually right behind me. I've taken that viola, tuned it to a specific tuning, and I'm playing that viola more like a guitar. I'm holding it like a guitar. I'm using a plectrum, a pick on it really hard, and I'm just flying all over that thing. Weird, but it's cool.
Wow,
Pretty
that's
fun.
amazing, Dan. And thank you for that insight. It sounds like really gritty and almost like equivalent to scratching on a chalkboard, but for the violin
That's
and
right.
all of that. I mean, just eerie and on the edge of your seat. And
Yes.
maybe this is terrible to say. I've never even thought about this, but is there any thought about making not nausea, not feeling nausea, but having a discontent, with the emotions of discontent? Is that
Yeah.
part of, is that what sometimes when you're brainstorming what you
You
think about?
you're describing the score right now. Yeah, a lot of music that we listen to is in a 4/4 time signature. It's a standard meter. I don't know if you have a music background, but you can use odd meters as well, 5/4s and 7/8s and all these different. They're hard to the average listener. They're hard to understand. You can't tap your foot to them, but a musician understands them well. And so it was important that that's where I went. Like go straight to the odd meter, tune these instruments in a different way. Find melody out of stuff that really doesn't sound musical. So it's been a fun morning in here. Actually, I was almost late to our meeting today, our episode, because I was in here, I was watching the clock. I was like, no, give me this view. I could do one more take. I'm like watching the clock.
Oh, that's so much fun. I love that you were doing odd jangles before. I'm going
Yeah,
to say
right.
odd jangles. Is that a good term?
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. And I love, well, first, I want to circle back a little bit. Did you watch Robert Stack in Unsolved Mysteries? Did you like that?
Yeah, absolutely, I did. I was a pretty big nerd, still am. And at that time, it was on right at the same time as Star Trek, The Next Generation. So I would watch both. And boy, it would creep me out, dude. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little kid, so it's pretty creepy.
That's great.
Iconic music. That theme, man, awesome.
Oh yeah, I loved that. I always knew when my dad had the TV on because I could hear it in that. So is this the Brianna Wells case? Is this the Warner Chappell global distribution deal that you got, or is that something else?
No, yeah, that's different. So, CrimeSonics is there's kind of like we kind of 2026 is going to be a neat year. Okay, so we have been and still are a growing production music library where anyone can come in and license music from CrimeSonics, our pre-existing catalog, which is getting massive now, and that's through our global deal with Warner Chappell. That's how we end up on most of the shows and all the credits that you see, because anybody around the world can just go in there, license what they want, a la carte, even all the stems. Like it's not just like you hear a piece of music and you like the one track. We have all the stems, sometimes 20 stems. You get a whole score out of one piece of music. So that's that. We've now moved into the whole like documentary filmmaking thing, which is going to be all over our website soon. And oh, gosh, I feel like I'm scatterbrained. We've already started our second documentary on a completely different topic. That's been a wild ride filming that one. I won't say nothing else. But in addition to that, we're going to really focus Crime Sonics to the custom music space. Like we need to work more with the shows and the producers directly and create modern, unique sounds that you just never heard. Like it's getting so experimental over here, and that's where my heart is for 2026 and beyond is working closely and doing more custom. But the library will still grow.
That is awesome, Dan, and you're going to do it. I can see that
Oh,
you're fired up and ready to go, and it's going to be great. Um, I did want to ask you about Stopping Crime Starts with Us, a
yeah.
PSA campaign. It won 7 Emmys in Bakersfield and San Luis Obispo. How did you approach storytelling through music in a public impact context?
Yeah, those PSAs were also produced in-house. Those are CrimeSonics PSAs. How that started actually was how we ended up doing Brianna's documentary was, long story short, we write music, create sound design, all these atmospheres for TV shows of real stories, real people. This is predominantly unscripted. These are real cases. Uh, One has to look at that and think, am I not just profiting off of these people's struggle, all this terror, this sadness, these unsolved crimes? I have to do something to give back. And that's why we started looking into local communities like where are, we need to draw attention to crime rates in cities around where we live. And yeah, we'll do that. We'll start doing that. And we did 2 or 3 of them. I was very proud of them, and yeah, they've won a lot of awards, and we, spared no expense. We really tried to make them visually stunning. But then it was through that whole process, it was like, well, gosh, maybe we should do something bigger, something long form. Now, I didn't realize it was gonna, we had the pandemic and then just life, and so I didn't realize it was going to be a 4-year endeavor. But that's how we got to Brianna's film, and then now we're working on this next film and possibly another Brianna film because yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know, long-winded answer, but it's how do you tell music or how do you tell the story musically through those things? You just it's about AJ. It's about subtext. If I was going to talk to composers right now, don't just score what you see, score why you're seeing it. And what that means, like I'll give you a cheesy example to me, which many composers know, but I'll share it. If you see a guy running on the footage, he's running fast. Okay. We don't want to score that. We want to score why he's running. Is he running away from an attacker? Okay, that's a score. That's a motivation. Is he running towards the love of his life? He's running in both scenes, but now the reason why he's running has changed drastically.
Ah,
Right?
right.
Or have you had a conversation with a director and the director is actually saying, actually this guy doesn't know why he's running. So we need to think of it in that context. Or he's actually running from something that's happened earlier in the film and it's the memory of it. So point I'm making is it's the motivation, it's the subtext. That is the gig. That is our gig. Like if we don't have that figured out as composers, dude, pack up, shutter the windows, close the doors, turn off the lights, go do something else. Do
That's
something else.
that's it in a nutshell. Thank you for that, Tim. That was great. And you're right. It's deeper layers, isn't it? It's beyond. It's basically reading between the lines. No, but bump. And I'm going to make that pun intended of a script or a screenplay. I was going to ask you, are you doing more documentaries? But you already mentioned that you are. So are you interested in going that direction for documentaries as well?
I do enjoy it. I enjoy it. Being here, I'm in this room that I'm talking to you from. I'm in here all day, some days sun up, sundown, and it's a pleasant room. I love it. It's great. Kitchen's right over here, bathroom's right there. I don't have to leave ever. I can sleep on the couch if I need to. Um, but by Thursday, by Friday, my back's a little tight. I'm like, okay. And I like being out in the field filming. I do. It's we've been in some very precarious situations, very dangerous situations. I am a bit of an adrenaline junkie, not like a risk taker guy where I want to jump out of an airplane or something, but I do like being in the chaos and trying to get that chaos into the camera. I love that stuff. And so I think creating documentary films will be something that I'm going to just kind of do for the rest of my life. And hopefully it's like a 2-year kind of thing where you film for 8 months to a year and then you're editing and you're finishing it for a year. That's my hope, is to kind of do that. And so we've been filming this other film for about 6 months now. And all I will tell you is we have filmed some chaos. So
Oh my.
I was punched in the face. Last time we were filming, I was filming, and this guy just comes over and punches me in the face. It was like, whoa, okay. I'm just filming, dude. So it was crazy.
Oh, were you okay?
Yeah, and he was holding a water bottle. So when he clocked me, the water bottle exploded, and I'm holding a camera, and I look down, and it's soaked. I'm like, oh
Oh.
no! So I'm like shaking the camera out. It's like, and it's fine. Everything's fine. I didn't lose any equipment, but
So was that an accident or part of the scene or what happened, Dan?
that was a random. So I don't want to talk about the film yet because it's so cool, but
Okay.
I'll just say that I'm filming a group of guys that do something that seems very provocative to the world.
Oh,
And so
okay.
as they're out there in public doing what they do, you get a lot of people who are very angry about it. And since I'm filming, I may it may appear that I'm like with these guys. And
But you're
although
not.
but I'm
But you're
not, I
not.
mean, like, it's not that I don't agree with some and a lot of what they're doing, but it's like, I don't know where I don't know them that well.
Right, you're neutral.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a good documentarian. I'm trying to be neutral and like
Right.
capture what's unfolding. And so anyway, um, I probably caused this attack on myself because like the people that were there were kind of saying some stuff. To be honest, it was a little racist. And so I said, man, that sounds a little racist. And but then all the attention came to me, and that was
Mm,
my mistake.
mm,
I need to
mm,
just be filming. What am I doing?
mm,
So
mm.
you learn.
An interesting point because you're right. The modern world that we live in is so different now than when I was a teenager, right? A lot of things have changed. So, good point. I mean, it's a very good point of what you're saying is that things change and be safe out there, okay, Dan?
Yeah,
And we'll just remain neutral and that's it for everybody, always and forever.
very neutral.
Right? Yeah. Um, okay, so you'll be safe. Looking ahead, Dan, how do you envision CrimeSonics evolving over the next 5 years?
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit. Like, I really want to focus on the custom music. And to flesh that out a little bit more, what that means is, if there's producers, if they're working on a show, showrunners, creators, if they're working on a show, and they know the kind of music they want, I'm not your guy. We're not your guy. If you know what you want, then go to crimesonics.com and go to search music and go through our library and license it all day long. Please do. Uh, I want to work on projects where you don't know what you want, and you've trusted me to try to craft something completely unique and free. Uh, I need freedom. I need real creative freedom. Um, it's going to be dope.
Yeah,
It might not be what you expect, but it's going to be dope.
it's
I'll
going to
even
be customized, it's going to be personalized, it's going to be tailored specifically and professionally to your individual project, whatever that
Yeah, exactly right. I've lived all over the United States, from Florida to Chicago to Denver to St. Louis to LA. I've been all over the world. I'm a student of music and sound and instruments and cuisine and art, and like I love pulling ingredients from everywhere.
it all connects, right, Dan? It
All
all it all is it all relates.
Oh, one of the places we eat at an Indian restaurant in Ventura, California every Friday night. And the music that they play, I always tell my wife, like, this music sounds the way this food tastes. And it's just like it's a perfect marriage. And I think about like, crime in Texas doesn't sound like crime in Chicago's in the 20. Crime, cyber crime at some off-site foreign laboratory doesn't sound like crime in Brianna's film, like Crime in Arizona. That takes place in Phoenix. So there are elements at times to the score where there's a little hint of Arizona in it. And I love that stuff. And so finding that, so yeah, that's the vision for CrimeSonics. Like, continue to grow the library, in our spare time on the weekends, produce the films. Um, custom music for sure. I would be remiss if I didn't also say that we provide tools for other composers. One of the things that uh, we have done and we're working on now is more virtual instrument software where other composers can buy and as they're writing music, they can pull up like stuff that we create here, and you can
That's
like
so cool.
it's very cool. I think it's the coolest stuff ever. And that's already available on CrimeSonics.com. You can already get it.
Oh, wow. So you can
And
go
more
to
is coming.
crimesonics.com and it's on there and you can and look, check it out. And then also that's also a way to contact you if they want customized, personalized, tailored composing. Is that right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, there's a contact page that it comes directly to me. I see all those messages that come in.
That's awesome. Okay, great. Thank you for that, Dan. And you say you feel you're happiest when writing music that sounds sad or emotional. What emotional story are you hoping to tell through your work that words can't express?
Well, if I talked about it specifically in regard to Brianna's film, short story, when we were filming with this lovely guy named Jorge, Jorge was taking out the trash one morning in an alley behind his house. And when he got to the dumpster, he looks down and there's a murdered child. When we filmed with Jorge, he walked us through that whole morning. And film talk, we actually had him do that twice so we could get like the best angles and like to edit it together. So we spent quite a bit of time with Jorge in that alley that day. Um, I remember hearing the melodies in my head while we were filming. It wasn't like something that I had to look for. It was here's Jorge telling me about finding Brianna. I hear it, and I heard it for a long time. So it was it's been like a cathartic experience being in the studio, just realizing it. And then it was either last week or the previous week. After about 3 months of writing, I had an incredible violinist here in the studio, and we did this close quarters. I set the violinist up like, I mean, I could high five him. He was sitting right here. So for 2 or 3 days, 8 hour, 9 hour days, we're just sitting there watching the film. He's hearing, you use virtual instruments and, you can see all the notes and everything. So he's listening to the virtual violin. We're dialoguing. He's playing this. It was an experience for me to just hear a world-class violinist realize the score and play it the way I hear it and the way I heard it in that alley. So yeah, that's what am I trying to tell? I'm just trying to
Tell
have
the truth, right? You
and
tell,
I want you to feel how I felt
yeah.
when I heard it.
Yeah. And also, you're also helping, listening to Jorge um, talk. That's almost like a little bit of, you're not a psychotherapist, but it's a little bit of counseling there going on. You're helping him uh, get rid of, some maybe some feeling and just share his experience. Do you feel that, Dan, a little bit that you're helping people when you talk to them and
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to give away the film, but I'll just say there is a moment where Brianna had a boyfriend, and he had never visited the site of her homicide, and that is something that is in our film. And what
wow.
happened off camera, but the cameras were still running, so like we have still images, and we will be putting a short behind the scenes kind of featurette thing together. Uh, yeah, it's helped a lot of people. Like it has. And ultimately I'll say this too. There's everybody knows it at this point. Brianna's family is not involved in our film. They're never involved in anything. And it's a very sad part of our film. And my hope is though that will change. And in the future, I think there really is there's more to this story. I'll leave it there. I would still like to invite them to be a part of what is going on.
I love that. And just you being able to express that here on our show and to let them know that you support them and are there for them. That's a wonderful thing and a wonderful invitation. I hope they take that up, that opportunity up. And I hope things can come together in the future and it all works out, Dan. So you're doing a really great job with everything. And I love how you follow through. You're a follow through kind of guy, aren't you?
It might take longer than everyone expects, but if there's air in these lungs, it will get done.
There you go. There you go. I love it. That's your motto. Um, who in the crime or music media space inspires you?
Huh. Okay.
Because we talked about Robert Stack three times
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Interesting. Interesting. Who inspires me? It's funny because you get to a when you start, it's really wise. Pro tip, try to sound like other people. Try to sound like other people. Try to learn what they do, learn their recipes. But then I always think of it like a chef. At some point, you've learned all these recipes. I want to make my own now. How do I make my own? And that's an interesting thing because like I'm at a spot now where I really don't want to listen to other people deeply. Oh, but I'll tell you, James Newton Howard, that film composer, dude's a genius. Dude is a genius. Dude is a genius. I used to say Danny Elfman, but that's for like he can write probably anything, but there's a sound there that I kind of shy away from at all times now because he's such a sound that if you can't even approach it. Like he's like, oh, you just sounded like that guy, so just avoid it. But I would say James Newton Howard is a composer that just has the ability to nail it, man. So if he ever sees this episode, my man.
Yeah, I hope he does. Wouldn't that be
Yeah,
fun?
yeah,
Wouldn't that
dude's a
be great?
genius. Dude's a genius.
So thank you for all for your inspiration out there. As a father, husband, and person of faith, Dan, how does your personal life fuel creativity and intensity and moral complexity in your crime compositions?
Wow, that's cool. I'm at a spot now where I just don't want to work on stuff that doesn't align with my biblical worldview. I think crime is exactly my biblical worldview. Like, is what is it? Sin. When people do sinful things, they commit crimes, right? They need Jesus, AJ. And so I'm all about working on these kind of projects because it shines light in the darkness.
Yes.
Right? Like, so I love that stuff. I've had opportunities recently where I've been very vocal about my faith over the past year, and my Facebook friends went down by like 1,000. I was like, oh man, that is
Oh,
crazy. I was like, but I really didn't know these people. It's all acquaintances, and
yeah.
so I don't know. How does it influence it? I don't want to work on stuff that I won't work on stuff that to me is a sin. And I heard someone say, we should not seek to be entertained by the sins for which Christ died. That is a deep and profound statement. So, wow.
Wow, it's very impactful. So I love that you're sticking to your guns.
Come on.
Okay, you
Heck,
like
and I
that?
got guns in this studio too, by the
I bet you do. I bet you got sound of the hammer,
way.
the
We do.
pistol. You've got the bullet coming out of the chamber.
Yep.
You might even have a cleaning a sound to clean the Smith and Wesson or whatever,
We
whatever
do have we have Hollywood
Western.
guns. Yeah, we have a Hollywood guns library. It's like
Do
over
you?
300 sounds. And yeah, it's all real. Like we shot everything. Like shotguns and 22s and 9 millimeters, 40. I think we did a Eagle. We did AR-15s. You can actually see me shooting the AR-15s on my website. But I keep a loaded 40 caliber right here in the studio. Don't come over
Wow.
here.
Okay, I respect you, Dan. I
Go
respect
on,
you completely. But
bad
yeah,
guy.
that's so fascinating. So you have a whole Western. If anybody has um, a Western film that they're thinking about making or creating, then you have a like a smorgasbord, if you
Oh yeah.
will, of fun, maybe even, I don't know, do you have Clint Eastwood's Magnum? I don't know, what was it, a Magnum something?
I think it was a Magna, wasn't it? You know, funny you brought up Western stuff too. So I play Native American flutes. You wouldn't think it by looking at me, but I have 200 of them, and like they'll be on the website soon. And I play a lot of slide guitar. And so that Westerny sound is some of my favorite. We call it Southern Justice. Southern Justice. That's my favorite. Southern Justice, Western Justice. Oh, love that stuff. So if you're working
That's
on that show, I'm your boy.
That's so cool. You just took, thank you for answering my next question. It was basically, what are some fun instruments that you like to record? That's fascinating that you know that. That's so cool. I love that you have all of those incredible musical instruments and that you can play them and it's wonderful. Um, Dan, what is the one psychological trait producers need to succeed in scoring crime?
Okay, cool. Psychological trait composers, I think, need to scoring crime. I would say that you don't have to feel the project the way that you think it. Sometimes I like there's like people get too artsy sometimes. A little too artsy. Like you don't got to be like in a dark studio and in a headspace. You don't have to go outside and break some crime, break some laws and come here. It's not about all that stuff. It's having a long conversation with the creator of that content. Like if it's a director, if it's scripted, if it's unscripted, it's just knowing story, asking questions before you ever even talk about anything musical. It's just asking questions about the story. With Brianna's film, I'm the one filming, doing the interviews, doing the investigation. So like we know this story, it's in my DNA. But if I was going to work on a project, let's say that you and I were going to work on a project now, I would probably be annoying how much I want to know, like where did it happen, what time of day, like who else was involved, what was this person into, like I just want to know every detail I can. So you start to get a headspace. Location infects the music greatly. Um, age, like you just have to know the story and ask questions.
Does height affect, does like on a mountain versus in a valley affect the sound quality? Is that different?
That's
Or
interesting. Well, the easy answer is like, you want to if you're on a mountaintop, you want to score something soaring and sweeping. But if we're trapped up there, that's the opposite thing that we want to do. And if we're in a valley, you think it's going to be low, right? The typical things that you think like, oh, it's low, it's sad, it's dark. Well, but if that valley provides protection, it's the opposite. So again, it goes back to what is that subtext? What is the motivation? What is the story? It is always there.
oh, that's fascinating. Thank you for that.
Anyway,
Yes, I was going to say psychologically, is the number one emotion fear or adrenaline? Is that what you're trying to, is that important for composers to or producers? Do they want that? Do they want the effect for
I
the
mean, I would say that it's yes in all of it. It's true. I mean, really, they dictate what we do. Like this thing I'm working on now that we talked about earlier, it's so aggressive and angry. I mean, it's footage, body cam footage, news footage of people getting blown away, like just murder after murder. It's just like it's an insane 3 minutes of just chaos of South Phoenix. And I spent 6 months of my or 6 weeks of my life there as well. So, we were filming one day and a guy threw a blue bandana over the fence and he was like, you know where you are, white boy? We was like, man, we in the wrong spot, homie. That's where we are. We're gonna peace out real quick. So, when we were filming, we had security with us. They had AR-15s with us. We have amazing behind the scenes stuff that you'll see. So to answer your question, this piece of music is very much fear and adrenaline and chaos. I have a note on the screen right here, location marker 17, chaos. That's what it says right there, chaos.
wow,
When we're done today, I'm going to go to chaos and figure out what is that going to be. And it's going to be
amazing.
so yes, to answer your question, but sometimes it's love, sometimes
Mhm.
it's sorrow, sometimes it's a memory, sometimes it's introspective. So
Mhm.
it's all of it. We are the through line of emotion. Being a composer, we are the through line to your film. We
Yes.
are.
Yes, you are. And how do you balance that, Dan? How do you balance the because in anything that is heavy, like 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 crimes and things like that, how do you balance? How do you bring in the? Do you listen to classical music? Do you balance? That's my next question. What was?
Constantly.
How do you balance it out?
Yeah, constantly. Um, it's a cool question because 2 hours and 24 minutes of this score is violin, viola, cello, bass, very minimal underscore, a lot of sound design. It's a very the violinist and I came up with the term. He really coined the term like folk adjacent. It's not Celtic, it's not folk music, but since I have a bluegrass background, there is a little bit of this kind of like blurring the lines between violin and fiddle. Same instrument, just played differently. And so there's that. And then what we're writing now, the next 20 minutes is just noise pretty much. I listen to a ton of film score, all different film score. And a lot of time I listen to it for textural things. Sometimes if I think like the writing is too dense, I'll just go put on some film score and like, wow, that's a way thinner than I would have done. So let me thin some things out. Other times it's the opposite. Other times I feel like I've nailed it, but no, there's actually there's a yeah, we could add something in here, not to make something more busy, not to be more heard, but is there something I can add to this to be more felt? Is there another layer to this piece of music? And maybe it is just sound design, or maybe it is another instrument that's just tied to the picture even more. Yeah, I don't know. It's
I mean, there's just a multitude of choices that you can make, like an
yeah,
intro of a fan, and then it goes into the music, or the fan is in the middle, or it's at the end. There's
totally.
just all of these incredible opportunities, right, Dan? Do you have fun with that? Is that fun?
Yeah, and that's a cool thing you brought up because when we were mixing all the sound design in this film, it's been a couple months now. One of the things that is cool about this documentary is we will use moments of sound design as segues, and the score does it a lot in different spots. So I'll give you an example. One of the individuals in our film gets a tattoo in honor of Brianna. And sometimes those scenes end and you hear the tattoo gun just ramp up in volume and it's like zzz, cuts to black. And it's like, that's a cool little moment. Or when we're filming in the alleys a lot, there's a lot of like stray dogs down there. And like sometimes a dog bark is kind of what you need to just kind of end a scene. And it's the dog. And it's like, I love that stuff. And then the funny thing is when I wrote like right when you turn this film on and I wrote this music, I'm like 2 months into writing and it kept bothering me. It's like, that's not right. No, that's not right. So keep writing, working my way through the film. And then we get to this one sequence and it's this 8-minute piece of music. And inside of that 8-minute piece of music, there's these 30 seconds. And to me, that sums up the whole film is that piece of music. And I thought, we're going to put that at the top of the film as well. So like now when you hit that thing, it's like fully realize, 2.5 months of considering this film musically. And now when I watch it and I'm like, yes, that is exactly the top of that film. So I don't know. You
What a
never know.
great, what a great feeling that you have.
Yeah, it surprises you. I like it when it turns out different than I intend.
Yeah, yeah, that's so much fun. I love that. I love that. That's the part of the creative. I love that part of the creative process and all that good stuff. Now I've got to start wrapping the show up soon, but I have a couple more questions if that's okay.
Yeah,
Now for local news there, you're in LA, right? Hollywood?
right.
How cool is that? I love it. Hi, Hollywood. Okay. Now, for local news, Dan, how do you feel about the new Hollywood tax break? The $750 million film credit happened Friday for the state, and there's a companion bill, Bill AB 1138, which would boost projects 20 to 35% for independent individuals. What do you think about that?
Okay, this is all news to me. So I'm in a hole back here all the time right now. And I'm so deep in the paint. You are breaking news to me. So when we're done today, I am going to go research all this. Right now, it's a big question mark. Like, what are you talking about? This sounds interesting.
Okay. Well, it's sure wonderful news, and I'm happy to celebrate it with you. And I'm super excited about California because it's so overdue. We've been wanting this for Hollywood, and you woohoo! I'm just so happy. So,
Yeah.
okay. Um, so what is your favorite crime movie of all time? Okay, I'm going to say Casino and Heat. Why do I say Casino? Because oh, I put my hand up again. I was not funny. Oh my gosh, I'm going to lower my hand. Sorry about that.
That's
That
hilarious.
that's happened before. But I say Heat because it's like one of my favorites. What is yours? What's one of your favorite crime
I
movies?
don't, AJ, this is a second question. I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know if I can answer. Gosh, favorite crime movie of all time.
The Godfather?
There's just because when I think about great crime films and cinematography, I also think about obviously the music. And like the crime music in the 80s had a thing. It had a vibe. And like, I'm thinking about like they'll have a little bluesy guitar, they'll have a little saxophone in there. It was like a different thing going on. And all these really bad keyboard percussion loops. Oh, I love that stuff so much. Can I just pick an era? I'm going to pick an 80s crime. That's it. I'm not going to say any one particular film, but if it was done in the 80s, it's probably pretty good and bad, but that's why it's good.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I love the 80s.
Yeah, there's no, this is not even a conversation. Like we had the most incredible filmmakers, pressing boundaries, doing things. I mean, we had the Jurassic Parks, we had the Goonies, we had the Terminator 2s, like we had these films. I mean, real cameras, real glass on film. Uh, it's an amazing time now to be a filmmaker. Unfortunately, because we also have the ability to just like create something and stick it up, create something and stick it up. We get content. We don't get quality. We just get content, and we get it fast. And you see that on the streamers. It's just like we want to have a big catalog of content, and the quality really suffers. And that's why when we do get like one or two good films a year, it's like, it's a big thing. It's like, oh wow, we get a good film. So yeah, we could talk about we could that could be a whole other episode. But like, yeah, 80s and gosh, I mean even the 90s had a lot of good films. I mean, when did Titanic come out? Was that 96 or something, or 99, or when did that come out?
In the
Remember?
90s, yeah, that
In the
was
90s. Yeah, it's like,
incredible. Just
yeah,
incredible.
James Cameron's, the Spielbergs,
Star Wars, that was
right?
yeah.
Right. But not the middle ones. That was a
That's
letdown.
so funny.
That was a letdown. Yeah, the
That's so
OG.
great.
Gosh, I don't know. Yeah. And funny enough, when we're at home, when my wife and I are choosing movies to watch, that's our era that we go to. We rarely watch anything past 2012.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I also don't like the way films look anymore. Like
Mhm.
in our documentary, we tried to film it in a way. It's wider screen. It's not filmed like a documentary, so it's widescreen a lot of times. All the B-roll is quite widescreen, and we used beautiful lenses and everything. Just it's not. Um, I don't want to give all this the secret tech. All the filmmakers know they know what to look for, but we just tried to make it look more film. It just needs to look more film.
Yes,
The edges are a little blurrier. There's a little bit of aberration in it, and it's softened, and it's but the film stuff, nerd stuff.
exactly. I love all of that and more practicals, real things that are
Yeah, right. Come on.
yeah. So I love that. Thank you so much for your presence today, Dan. This is a truly a remarkable interview. I'm so thankful, honored, and grateful and privileged to interview you. I'm so thrilled with this show. And how can people, is there anything else you want to say thank you to, or a shout out or acknowledgement? Anything else you want to promote?
Well, don't be so impressed. I'm just a dude over here chilling. So, yeah, again, I don't take myself too serious. I just take the work serious. But like, if we go have lunch anytime, we're just gonna hang out. Um,
Oh, that's
yeah,
so sweet.
I give all glory to the Lord. I give all glory to Jesus. Like I truly do. Without him, it would be worthless. I share with you, I'm not a religious person at all, but I study those scriptures, and when I read who he was, that is who he is, who he said he was. So I give him the glory. I would. I am the luckiest dude ever. I landed the coolest wife, man. She's so.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And
Oh,
the coolest family and the
I'm telling you,
coolest
my son's
son.
so cool. Like we've been married now 18 years. See it, 18 years. We still like yesterday, we're up in Santa Barbara riding bikes, just hanging out. And that is the hugest blessing. My marital advice to anyone would be this simple. Um, Find someone that you want to support them as they become the best version of them. And if you guys are both doing that for each other, that is keys to success. I want her to become the best version of her. She wants me to become the best version of me. And has nothing to do with trying to like change people. Like we don't argue ever. We don't, it's just chill over here, dude. So that's
I
all.
love it. I love this. And congratulations, 18 years together. That's so significant. Congratulations to you and your lovely wife and your beautiful family. And it is a blessing and it's an accomplishment and it's a wonderful thing. These are gifts from God. And I'm so thankful and grateful for that. And you know where I'm going right now? This is my signature thing that I do every show. This is your heart message I'm going to ask you. Everybody has a heart message. It can be personally, it can be professionally. Dan, what is your heart message? You touched a little bit on your faith. You can
Yeah.
definitely talk more about that if you want to.
Well,
Whatever you want to, however you want to answer, take it away.
I love it. I will tell you that the way that media, film, movies, word of mouth, families, and religion, the way they portray Jesus is all inaccurate. The biblical Jesus is unlike what you would suspect. I would tell you, I am not a religious person at all. I think religion is where you go to die. It is. It'll get you doing stuff habitually, thinking you are doing something, getting you closer to the Lord, and He's the furthest thing from you. I would tell you that most of churches, um, it's just a racket, and they're just there for your money. That's it. But if we all as individuals owe it to ourselves to figure out, is he being Jesus? Is he who he says he is? And the only way that you're going to find that out is by getting into those pages on your own. And now with ChatGPT, you don't even have to take anyone's word for it. But I'll tell you this, I would start with an LSB Bible. LSB is the closest translation to all the original manuscripts, but then cross-check everything with AI. You will come to learn that Jesus fulfilled over 350 prophecies. That is remarkable that one person could fulfill one. So like if I said, hey, we're going to go to Vegas and I'm going to put it on black and I do it, wow, that's so lucky. And if I did it twice, oh my gosh. But then if I did it 350 times, something's very special here. So my heart message is you owe it to yourself to know what you believe or you don't believe. Don't have a copy and paste belief system. Don't just think about what everyone has told you. Do the research. I'm just telling you, read your Bible. Just read it. Just read it. Start in the book of John because the Bible is 66 books. Go right to the book of John, then read the book of Acts. That's my heart message.
Ah, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. And I was going to ask you, what did AI say about the Dead Sea Scrolls? Because I remember my dad mentioning the Dead Sea Scrolls
Yeah.
and how important they were. Tell us a little, can you tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, well, they're accurate. That's the thing that's crazy. I mean, you can take the photograph, load it into ChatGPT, and it can read the text. It can read it. It's like, holy smokes. And what you come to find out is like what we have now as a Bible, like an LSB Bible, it's very, very accurate. We have thousands of manuscripts to go back to and to cross-reference. We have a very, very clear understanding of what those scriptures say. So if anyone says that it isn't, this is a lie from the pit. So, Yeah. If you get a chance to go to that exhibit, it's a traveling exhibit.
Uh-huh.
Go to it. It's a little underwhelming because it's going to be a long line, but when you finally get to put your eyes upon that kind of stuff, it's like, whoa, that's the real stuff right there. Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It's fake.
Well, thank you so much, Dan. I appreciate you so much. And again, thank you for being here today. I've enjoyed it so, so much. And I hope everybody, I know everyone else will as well. Please check out crimesonics.com. And there's a whole lot of fun things you can check out there, the library. And of course, you can get contact with Dan if you have a special project. And he's one of the best. So please support him and follow him and all that good stuff. And thank you again so much, Dan. Thanks for making such a great show.
Thank you so much.